Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Uncovering the Hidden Agendas, a video series dedicated to showing you all how Satan has put his hand of influence on just about every aspect of society. So today's video is part 3 of my talk on video games. Like I said back in episodes 9 and 10, it's not just music, not just movies, not just TV shows. The video game industry is also more occult influenced than you might think. So many games about literally playing as a devil, games where you're selling your soul, games with all kinds of satanic symbols featured within the game, hidden in plain sight. It's all over the place. So today we're going to see more games that feature occult symbolism. I'm also going to break down the occult roots of the video game consoles themselves. So as we get started, I first want to mention an interview that happened a few years ago. It was conducted by Cecilia D'Anastasio, and it was done with several Satanists. And the title of the article she made as a result of these interviews, Satanists Say Video Games Help Them Practice Their Religion. How about that? Quote from the article, Satanists seek to amass power and experience pleasure, and that's by the book Life Advice. To that end, over half a dozen Satanists I interviewed say that games are playgrounds for their satanic virtues to run free. So does that mean that Satanists are creating video games too? Things to think about. Another quote from the article, this reverend from the Church of Satan, he pointed out 3 tenets of Satanism that thrive in games: indulgence, meritocracy, and total environments, customizable spaces that the Church of Satan calls literal pleasure domes, and places of amusement and delight. It's all about curating the best place for Satanists to become better and more powerful, and to be able to delight in whatever is pleasurable. And some games that were mentioned by these Satanists: Ark Survival Evolved, Left 4 Dead, Call of Duty, Minecraft, EVE Online, Grand Theft Auto, and Dungeons and Dragons. So back to what Mr. Rawl was saying, games like Minecraft allow you to build things, right? And that's what Satanists love. Being able to build things wherever they want, establishing their domination, establishing their territory, little by little taking over the world. And a lot of these other games they mentioned, and many others as well, allow you to dress up your character, right? Giving them certain outfits, certain haircuts, certain tattoos. That hits another tenet of Satanism, which is pride, right? So there's just a couple of reasons why Satanists enjoy video games. And if these games truly are catered to Satanists and created by Satanists, then we as Christians have no business being involved in this video game industry. So now let's break down the roots of various consoles and logos, see where they came from, where their names came from, where their logos came from, things like that. First of all, PlayStation. This is the original PlayStation logo. So if you had the first PlayStation model on the screen powered on, it looked like this. But if you flip this image around, you get this. Alright, 2 things to point out. Well, first of all, in both the original image and the flipped around image, it has the colors red, yellow, blue, and green. We've talked about those colors before. Those are symbolic of witchcraft. When witches get together, they call on 4 elements that they believe rule everything: earth, air, water, and fire. And they are represented by those 4 colors. Alright? Another thing to point out about this logo, when you turn it around, it looks like a snake. And what is the snake symbolic of? The serpent in the Garden of Eden, which tempted mankind to commit the first sin. JVC XI, this is another older model. Alright, I want to pay special attention to this image on the right. This is what you see when you power on. So you got an X above what looks like an Earth, right? So if you've seen previous episodes, we know that X is symbolic of Satan, as well as other things as well. So the fact that the X is placed above the Earth, is that promoting Satan as ruler of the earth? Alright? Some things to think about, things to be aware of, things to watch out for. The Sega Master System. I'm just not comfortable with the word master in this context. This game promoting Satan as master. Master also being a word in Freemasonry, as in Master Mason, the highest degree in the Blue Lodge of Freemasonry. Also, one other thing to point out, the power button is in the shape of a pyramid, signifying the elite's power. The GameCube looks exactly like an older model, but still very relevant model of a ballot box used in Freemasonry. Atari sounds like a couple of gods that we see throughout history. Otar from Norse mythology, and Atar as well. Also worth noting, 3 lines, we've talked about this in a previous episode too. That is symbolic of, again, Master Mason, the 3rd degree. Nintendo Wii kind of sounds like the Lakota Spirit Wii. We see a lot of mythology. That is a very unfortunate trend. The Xbox 360, this one's loaded, so let's break it down. First of all, let's focus on 360, right, which is symbolic of a circle, 360 degrees. So let's look at the significance of a circle. Unlike many other religions that have permanent consecrated places of worship, a witch may consecrate any area deemed suitable at any time for the length of that ritual only, giving her far greater flexibility and convenience. That area is enclosed in a circle, which is used to meet in a field or a clearing in a woods or any other open place convenient to all members, which is referred to their ritual circle as the place between the worlds, neither in this world nor the next. Wow. Something literally just struck me as I read that. Virtual reality, the newer form of gaming. The place between the worlds. Those phrases sound very similar. This is the place where all the rituals take place and where magic is performed if needed. Alright, we good so far? Let's take it a step further. In order to orient the circle to the 4 cardinal points, candles are placed at the east, south, west, and north. Alright, so going back to this logo over here, it's an X right now, but if we tilt it slightly, we've got our 4 directions, north, south, east, and west. Alright, also symbolic of the 4 elements, but now that we have north, south, east, and west represented, starting to look like this ritual circle that we're learning about, right? Alright, moving on. In the center, or to one side, depending on the tradition, stands the altar on which the coven tools, or those of the individual witch, are placed. All within the circle are also consecrated, so that nothing unpurified is within it. So now we're starting to see the significance of the center. And guess what has to be said about the Xbox 360 logo? The Xbox 360 name was chosen to imply that the gamer is at the center of the Xbox experience. So again, their choice of words here is very telling. Alright. The Wiccan deities are invited into the circle to share the ritual with the witches. Unlike in ceremonial magic, there is no commanding or conjuring of the gods or of any spirits or entities. All should be within the circle of their own free will. So why is this significant? Because there are millions of games that feature gods, feature mythology, feature pagan worship, right? This list right here is Xbox alone. And this goes for all Xbox models. Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One. So many games featuring gods. So it's like, these are too many coincidences to be a coincidence. Xbox 360, Xbox period, is symbolic of Wiccan ritual. One more point. At the end of the ritual, the gods are thanked and the circle is opened. Why is that significant? You ready for your mind to be blown? At the end of the ritual, the gods are thanked and the circle is open. So when you're finished playing a game about a god, for example, the circle is opened. The circular holding of the disc is opened. So y'all, my mind's made up. Literally playing a video game is symbolic of a Wiccan ritual. You saw the common language. There's no denying that. And just the fact that there are all these games about gods, featuring the word God, God of War, all that type of stuff. Symbolism hidden in plain sight, yo. It's crazy. Moving on. I've talked about Mario before, but I want to reveal something else about the Mario story, about the Mario franchise. The shocking truth about Super Mario. The story of Super Mario faintly recalls the Greek myth of Orpheus, who descended into the depths of Hades to rescue his true love, Eurydice, who had died by a poisonous snake bite. So again, if we see any type of ancient history, Egyptian history, Greek history, and red flag. Avoid at all costs, alright? So let's break it down a little more. How does Super Mario reflect this story? Orpheus, the son of Apollo, was a mere mortal who could not have survived a descent into Hades had it not been for the magical assistance of the gods. Mario and his brother Luigi are mere human beings who have descended into the Mushroom Kingdom to rescue the princess who has been captured by the evil Bowser. The brothers are able to survive the trials of the Mushroom Kingdom by various power-ups that help them overcome daunting obstacles and an onslaught of enemies. Right, so those power-ups, magical assistance from gods, starting to see common language again. Let's break it down a little more. Let's talk about a couple of those power-ups. The mushroom power-up turns Mario into Big Mario, which makes him tougher. The Berserkers, meaning bearskins, were elite Norse warriors who were said to have fought in a trance-like fury. Some historians have proposed that Berserker warriors were able to bring on their seemingly unstoppable rage while voluntarily consuming the hallucinogenic mushroom Amanita muscaria, known today on the street as magic mushrooms. How about that? Super Mario is also able to transform himself into a flying raccoon by consuming the Super Leaf power-up. In this form, Mario isn't actually transformed into a raccoon, but appears to be wearing part of the pelt of giant raccoon. Similarly, Norse elite warriors would wear bear skins, wolf skins, or the skin of a wild boar. Alright, so now we got some Norse mythology connections. The game has hints of secret societies too. Bricklayers are also called masons, and you see a lot of bricks throughout the game, Mario frequently breaking them. Mario also steps on turtles, and the turtle is a symbol of another secret society called the Fabian Society. Just some other games to point out, some newer games. Call of Duty Vanguard was released last year. The game is set in World War II and also features zombies. Soldiers in the game have the ability to raise zombies from the dead. And it gets worse. If zombies weren't bad enough, playing with the idea of afterlife, which goes against biblical teaching, it gets worse. The game's trailer features Billie Eilish singing her song Bury a Friend, playing over scenes of frantic survival. One phrase in the lyrics says, "For the debt I owe, gotta sell my soul, 'cause I can't say no, no, I can't say no." This is the trailer. So if you're hearing stuff like that before you even get the game, red flag, don't do it. Nightbook, also released last year. Nightbook is an interactive occult thriller about an online interpreter who is tricked into reading an ancient book that summons a demon into her home. But this stuff is okay for kids to play. This stuff is okay for youth to play. Where have our boundaries gone for anything? And there are various games that put the player in Satan's shoes, allowing the player to actually play as Satan. I don't know who thought this was a good idea, but this is the reality. Alright, so we've seen a little bit of this before, just to feature more games that I may not have talked about in previous episodes. Here are some examples of occult symbolism featured in games. Let's start with the all-seeing eye. Here's a quick video that shows a number of games that feature this symbol. Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, Battlefield, Bioshock Infinite, Conan Exiles, Clive Baker's Jericho, Dawn of War, Dead Space, Deus Ex, Dragon Age Inquisition, Grand Theft Auto 5, Halo, L.A. Noire, Max Payne, Niflheim, Oblivion, Overwatch, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Watch Dogs, Tomb Raider, Legend of Zelda, Yu-Gi-Oh, and much, much, much more. Dragon's Fury, another one that features the all-seeing eye in the D of the logo. And you don't see this at first glance, but notice there's a woman in the back. Don't know what that's symbolic of, but my guess is a goddess. World of Warcraft got the all-seeing eye in various places. Conan Exiles got all-seeing eye symbolism and a snake, again symbolic of the serpent. Assassin's Creed, more all-seeing eye symbolism, also got a pyramid, symbolic of the elite and a very highly used occult symbol. Devilish the Next Possession, pretty self-explanatory, a game about demonic possession. Altered Beast, also demonic possession. And notice the eye symbolism, blue and red, symbolic of the two lodges of Freemasonry, red and blue. Fortnite, we got people throwing up their pyramids, again a highly used occult symbol, and another pyramid here. We also have a fallen angel. Stuff is right in our faces. These are screenshots from the trailer of Fortnite. Borderlands 3, this one was interesting, and by interesting I mean weird. So we got the all-seeing eye symbolism again. Over here it says, Children of the Vault, give your flesh. Is that symbolic of child sacrifice, which we have seen before? And then over here, well, it's kind of hard to see, but it looks like some type of deity, and he has 4 arms. That is symbolic of Vishnu. And over here on the same screen, it literally has the words cult following. Like, talk about indoctrination. My goodness. Tekken, the main villain in Tekken, his name is Azazel. They call him the rectifier of all things. Also a demon in Jewish legends. Yikes. And over here we have some Baphomet symbolism. It's an idol worshipped by Wiccans and various other secret societies. And quite a few screenshots of the devil's horns. Warframe, you can see a beehive here. That is another symbol commonly used in Freemasonry. Call of Duty, a couple things to point out here. First of all, you see all the 6s in this screen. What is that symbolic of? Probably 666, number of the mark of the beast. And then we got pyramid symbolism down here with an eye at the top, again symbolic of the all-seeing eye. Columns, all right, if you look over here, it looks very similar to what we might see in a Masonic temple, with pillars or columns on either side. Devil May Cry 5, all-seeing eye symbolism on the wall, checkerboard floor, common in Masonic temples. The main character, Dante, his choice of drink literally says 666 on it. Like, how more blunt could you get? And then there's something in the game called the Devil Trigger. The Devil Trigger state allows Dante to assume his true form and appearance. In this form, many of the character's physical and magical attributes are amplified, and the character may have access to upgrades or even additions to their normal abilities like flying or hovering. Devil Trigger represents the ultimate power in the game. It is what players are told to aspire for. Yikes. Rather than an enemy, it is satanic power that fuels Dante and his Nephilim demonic twin brother. And there's another character in the game, Dante's sidekick, a girl named Cat. Cat regularly concocts witchcraft potions that provide her with magical powers. Dante regularly uses her abilities as a medium and Wiccan practitioner to help with his missions. Alright, so right off the bat, we've got Mark of the Beast symbolism, we've got demonic possession. That's what that devil trigger sure sounds like. And we've got witchcraft. And with this same Wiccan practitioner, kind of hard to see, but looks like a star tattoo on her forehead. What's the significance of that? According to the actual game wiki, the star tattoo on Kat's forehead is also the location of the third eye, or ajna, the brow chakra in Dharmic or Hindu traditions, responsible for spiritual consciousness and clarity of intuition. This plays into how Kat can see into the limbo dimension and otherwise see spirits as a medium. The pineal gland or third eye is represented in the occult for its ability to help turn humans into godlike beings. So this is why if you ever see a Hindu woman, an Indian woman, you often see them with a dot in their forehead. That's what that is symbolic of, that third eye, that chakra. But as we now see, opening the third eye is yet another tool of witchcraft to contact the demonic realm. Yet the game promotes it as helpful in the battle against evil. This is the subtle deception of sin. While the game is a battle against evil forces to save the world, it is quietly promoting the many sinful methods of the occult. To talk about wolves in sheep's clothing, good girl gone bad, but still trying to act like they're good. It's all over the place, y'all. Cuphead. This is another game that seems innocent. The main goal of the game is to beat the devil, but there is more symbolism to it than you might think. So, how the story starts, the game literally starts off with a Faustian deal. The two main characters in the game are at the casino, and the devil says, if you lose, I'll have your souls. And this game is just loaded with much, much more. First of all, worth noting again, the two main characters, red and blue, representing red and blue lodges of Freemasonry. In the final scene of the game where you fight the devil, he changes into various characters. He changes into a serpent/dragon. Both of those should be pretty self-explanatory. He changes into a Baphomet, which is worshipped by Wiccans. Down here, he looks like he is in a trance, some sort of demonic possession. Also can't forget the occult hand sign here. And then here, he looks like a fly, and this is representative of Beelzebub, Lord of the Flies. Quite a few other things happen in the game. We've got some spontaneous generation, living things coming from non-living things, playing with the afterlife, what looks like a demonic moon, checkerboard floor down here, beehive, again, common symbol in Freemasonry, white gloves, which is what all Freemasons wear, another pyramid with one eye on it, symbolic of the all-seeing eye, and I think the rabbit simply means that you've gone down a rabbit hole. Kingdom Hearts, just one scene from the game. Snow White eating the apple. I think that's symbolic of Eve eating, we don't know if it was an apple or not, but it's usually represented as an apple that's seen in the Bible. Alright, so literally promoting temptation in this game. Neverwinter Nights, upside down star, common symbol in Satanism, and again the all-seeing eye. Overwatch. If you look down here, several people have one eye covered or one eye hidden. Symbolic of all-seeing eye again. Thunder Force 3. This is a phoenix over here and is symbolic of Lucifer. Just like this phoenix, Lucifer was cast down into flames, and occult circles believe he will rise up again triumphant. Crackdown, got the Baphomet symbolism back there. But would you believe that this type of occult symbolism is also featured in sports video games? Kind of hard to believe, right? Because it's literally playing a sport. Like, why would this type of stuff be featured in there? You'd be surprised. Let's look at a couple of examples. Here's the opening to NBA 2K16. I think it'll speak for itself. and I'll pause it right there. Yeah, just like many other games we've seen. Let me go back to a previous frame. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. So this generic character is going up against various top players in the league. And they all looked like demons. You couldn't see their eyes. They looked like they were in a trance. Their eyes were either red or white. Demonic possession in a sports game. Like, I don't get it. And then Michael Jordan, regarded as the greatest of all time, featured on this Illuminati-like throne, to be honest. Alright? So this looks like some type of horned god. Could be Satan too, but I've talked about the significance of a horned god before, symbolic of Molech, one of many gods in the Bible that children were sacrificed to. One more instance in 2K a few years ago. You have the option in the game to create teams, and you can choose logos that the game has provided to represent your team. And someone pointed this out on Reddit, that one of the team logos, the generic team logos, looks like the Nazi black sun. Like, what the heck? NHL 19, want to point out a couple things about their trailer. First of all, you got 3 hockey fields down here. Kind of at first glance, it looks like 666. And then halfway through the trailer, about halfway through the trailer, this happens. All-seeing eye symbolism again. Covered one eye with a 6. NFL Street 2. And I'll tell you, this used to be my favorite game. But I had to give it up because I just didn't realize how loaded it was with satanic symbolism. I don't play games at all anymore. And I hope I'm inspiring y'all to do the same, because this stuff is real. This stuff is real. So, in this game, you have the option to create characters. And you can embark on various challenges within the game with the characters that you make. So, in the process of creating that character, one thing you can do is create what they call celebrations. So if you're on your way to the end zone, it looks like you're about to score a touchdown, you can press a button that will make your player do a celebration. And one of the choices for celebrations is literally called the X. And again, the X is symbolic of Satan, symbolic of Ra, common masonic symbol. Like, there's nothing good about the letter X. Also, when you create your character, you can, going back to that pride element earlier, not just being able to give them outfits, but also various tattoos. Alright, we got the anchor tattoo. I know it's kind of hard to see. Anchor is another masonic symbol. You also have the option to get a devil tattoo. You can't get more blunt than that. And it's worth noting, you can only get this tattoo for your back. So you can play shirtless in the game. You do have the option to play shirtless, but 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to be wearing some type of jersey or shirt. So trying to make it inconspicuous. You also have the option to get a demon tattoo. So we're seeing all these symbols that are symbolic of Freemasonry and the occult and Satanism. Not once in all my years playing this game did I see the option to have a cross tattoo. Something else worth noting, if you're playing the game itself, the default setting to win the game is 36. You can change it obviously, but the default is 36. Break that down. 3-6, 3 6s, 666. So again, going back to those celebrations, this is actually after you score a touchdown. This is one of the celebrations that happens in the game. There's that X again. Notice he's also grunting. Just the fact that he's grunting reminds me of that scene in Black Panther with the ancestral plane.
Allow the heart-shaped herb to give you the powers of the Black Panther and take you to the ancestral plane.
In both cases, an X across the chest. He didn't grunt, but he was convulsing as he engaged in this ritual. So, is NFL Street promoting and symbolizing a ritual? Yikes. Various artwork featured within the game. Red, yellow, blue, and green symbolism here. Looks like this person is being chased by a demon. And this one looks like sun worship. All the arrows are pointing toward this black circle, round thing, whatever it is. And you've got a couple of arms reaching toward it in a worship-like pose. Yeah, I think that's symbolic of sun worship. And it's not just symbols, it's not just imagery. The soundtracks can also be very telling of the character of a game. And that is also the case for sports video games. Staying on NFL Street 2, there is literally a song that says, "Pray for me." Sounds like a good title, right? But look who the artist is. Triple Seis. Seis is Spanish for six. Triple six. 666. Another song from that same game. Bishop in the game, ain't no soul here safe. It's the equivalent of the devil when he fell from grace. So go against me and hell's what you face. So these type of songs playing over and over as we're playing in the game, that's not good for our minds. It's not good for our soul. Madden 12 had a song called Money for the Weekend as part of its soundtrack. And the chorus, not just one line from the song, the chorus comes back each time and says, "There's no money for the weekend and there's no heaven for the saints." Wow. Madden 08, going back a few years. One of the songs in that game is Daylight Slaving. A couple lines from that song. "I can't tell where the land ends and the sky begins. Down and down we've descended. With no sense of direction, I am lost and can't ask a question." Yeah, it pretty much sounds like that song is describing hell. And NBA 2K22 came out not too long ago. One of the songs on that game is Sacrifices. "I make sacrifices, bloody sacrifices, cut throat, grab his toe, I suppose." Again, this is the chorus of the song. So, just like I mentioned earlier in this episode and in another episode as well, is this the intent of video games? Is this the intent of entertainment in general today? To symbolize child sacrifice. Leviticus 18:21. "You shall not give any of your children to offer them to Molech, and to profane the name of your God. I am the Lord." So you literally saw it. A song called Sacrifices. "I make sacrifices, bloody sacrifices." Was this game made for child sacrifice? Another screenshot from a game. "Holy is the mouth that bleeds." Also sounds like child sacrifice. So all that to say, again, the devil's busy. If you've got a son, nephew, niece, daughter, cousin, young relative or friend that's playing video games, anyone you know of, or if you yourself play video games, I hope this video has even more, in addition to episode 9 and 10, showed you the true intent, the true character, the true motive of video games in general. So yes, child sacrifice is real. Sacrificing the child's mind, sacrificing the child's soul, sacrificing their faith. The devil wants it all. So let's stand up against his tricks as we remember that the battle is not ours, it's the Lord's. That being said, I'll wrap it up for this episode. Hope to see you all in the next one. Be vigilant, my friends.